Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 15, I believe. I think
Well,
that is
the
what it
third
is.
attempt, the third attempt at episode 15. We've had a lot of technical difficulties this week in the studios. Just
Yeah,
keep dropping.
big
But
big pick day today, though. We've got a
yeah,
lot of games in the docket.
we'll run through the NFL picks, make sure we get that out before game time, and then if we get to other stuff, we will. If not, we'll talk about the Giants game and the Yankees in tomorrow's show. First off, let's talk about those college picks. If you don't consider the point spread, 20-2 yesterday. Not too bad, huh?
Yeah, there was a lot. I'm still not impressed with how some of these top 25 teams are performing. I think Miami's terrible. I was wrong with that one. I thought they were going to come out with some energy. They look terrible. They're not even going to be in the top 25. I mean, I didn't see some of these ending scores of some top 25 night games, but so UNC won by 20. That's good for the ACC. But dude,
Yeah,
some of
the
these teams
ACC,
were.
forget that. They had a terrible showing.
I
They
mean,
West Virginia beats Virginia Tech. They
Notre
are
Dame,
red.
like
They haven't
these,
won any big games yet this year.
yeah, some of these top like 15 teams are not playing well, and the fact like Oklahoma at home against Nebraska only by 7. Oklahoma's a very offensive team. That was not a good game scoring wise from
What
them.
about UCLA after a big win versus the SEC and LSU blows up a dud and loses to Fresno State at home?
Yeah, it's
It's
ridiculous.
terrible.
Clemson's not playing anything like a top 10 team right now.
So
Um I thought Auburn looked good. I wish they beat Penn State yesterday. I thought they looked really good. And we're learning that Alabama can be beat. I think Florida
uh,
could have won that game.
Alabama has those games. That was Florida's chance. Other teams won't get that chance. Alabama doesn't have those multiple games like that where they give opportunities. So I
Yeah,
think
I
that was
mean
a big.
Alabama's got a couple games left this year. That's kind of like gonna. I mean, their biggest game left on the schedule is when they go into Texas A&M, which is a hard place to play in, very hard
Well,
place to play
yeah,
in.
and they're a great team. So that I would say that's a pretty big one.
And they have always the Iron Bowl is always going to be a good showing. And I
Oh,
still
for
think
sure.
Auburn can play with them. I think
I,
Alabama is good. So people are like, oh, Georgia this, Georgia that. But really watching Georgia yesterday against South Carolina, I still wasn't really impressed
their
offensively.
defense is awesome. Their offense is not.
I don't think their offense though can play against a Nick Saban defense like a great like South Carolina's defense is okay. They're not even top 25. So like, can that offense even play? Like their offense couldn't play against Clemson's defense at all. And so like I think Georgia's just missing
It's
that
also
offensive piece.
very early. Like college, it's so much more pressure because you can't lose a game. It could knock you out for your
Yeah.
whole season. It's hard to like grow as a team. They'll get better and they'll start figuring out all these offenses will start to pick up speed. I think towards the end of the year, and we'll see the truth. I think Alabama's still going to just keep rolling. Texas
Yeah.
A&M's the team that's got to step up. But with
Yeah.
that, Matty, let's get into the NFL. Let's make sure we get our fans some of the picks of the week, and we could let them go. I'll have you read them off. I did not take notes. I looked at a bunch of games this week. There's games that I like, and then games I'm not sure about. So we'll see what happens.
All right, we're gonna start with the 1 o'clock games, and we got some interesting ones here, and we're gonna start out with the Bears and the Bengals. The Chicago Bears are 0-1 hosting the Bengals in Chicago, and the Bengals, I think they snuck out with a victory last week, a game they kind of shouldn't have won. I think the Bears. I mean, I forget what their score was last week. I felt like they could have won that game. ESPN matchup predictor gives them a 54% chance to win this game. I'm gonna agree with that. I'm gonna go with the Bears today. I don't think Cincinnati's gonna beat them on the road. I mean,
I,
I think we're gonna be looking for the Bears to come back with some fire to win this game because they don't want to start off 0-2.
I think people are going too easy on the Bengals, historically thinking it's the same bad Bengals. I think they're a better team. I think, and Joe Burrow and this offense, they have a great running back. They have good wide receivers. Um, if the offensive line protects, they could score. I think this is the Bengals upsetting a team I love, the Bears, but I think this is a Bengals and
Oh,
an upset. Yeah. Don't want to tell our social media person when we have to post those, but I think the
yeah,
Bengals are going to sneak this one out. If not, if the Bears win, I think the Bears are going to win impressively, and you'll
I
see a
agree.
different team. But if it's a close game, it's the Bengals, and I think it's a close game.
I could agree with that. I could agree
What,
with that. The
what's
next
next?
game we have is is going to be a blowout. We're definitely going to both agree on this one. The 0-1 Cleveland Browns host the 1-0 Houston Texans. ESPN has Cleveland 79% chance to win this
It's all
game.
Browns. The Texans are not a good team, which is even worse for the Jaguars because the fact that the Texans look like a superstars. Um, they had a veteran quarterback who did a great job against a terrible team in Jacksonville. The Browns should have beat the Chiefs if they could have played a
Agreed.
full game. They didn't play a full game. I think they learned their lessons. Uh-oh, I'm getting the chats coming in from the wife about the Bears picks. Um,
I chose the Bears. I chose the
I know,
Bears.
I know. But sometimes it's a reverse jinx. You never know. There's something about
Oh,
that Bengal team this year and I think it's Joe Burrow and my love of LSU, but I feel like
oh,
there's something going on there. But anyway, yeah,
yeah,
you're right. Browns easy one. I don't think that one game's close. They're just gonna pound the rock on them and push them off the
yeah.
side.
The next one's going to be very interesting, and I'm interested to see what you're going to pick here. The 0-1 Indianapolis Colts host the 1-0 Rams. And right now, ESPN giving the Rams 55% chance to win. And again, I'm probably going to stick with that because I like the Rams offense. This is going to be this is going to be a good game. I still think the Rams are going to end up winning.
I
But
think
what do
the
you think
Rams
about
big.
this one?
I think the Rams big. I
Yeah.
love the Rams in this game. Um, I don't believe in Carson Wentz yet. A lot of injuries on the Colts. I'm
Yeah.
I'm taking the Rams, and I like them by a touchdown at least. I don't think it's as close as people are going to say.
And our next game, this is good. This is gonna be a good one as well. The 1-0 Miami Dolphins are gonna host the 0-1 Bills, coming off a bad week in the Bills. Bills are barely the matchup predictor giving the Bills just a 50.2% chance to win this game. I think there's a high possibility the Bears, or not the Bears, the Bills come out of Miami 0-2. But I don't think it's going to happen. I think it's rebound time. Josh Allen's my starting quarterback in fantasy. I need him big time. He's going to have a better week. Miami snuck out with a victory in New England that I don't think they really should have had. And
But that's a good win for them. I think Miami has a good coach. They have good players, but I'm going with the Bills too. I thought the
yeah,
Bills let that game on the field last week. They should have won. They made some mistakes. Both of these teams have terrific coaches, and I don't think they'll repeat the mistakes again. I think you will get your Josh Allen to, maybe 2 touchdowns throwing, maybe even one quarterback sneak on the ground to get you through your win. But I like the Bills. Not because I don't like the Dolphins. It's just I think the Bills are going to be the better team this week.
I agree with that. And the next one is I pray to God this is finally the chance that this stupid fan base can stop barking to one of the New
Uh,
York teams. The 0-1 Jets host the 0-1 Patriots in New York or New Jersey, and the Patriots 65% chance to win. I'm gonna I'm gonna
I put
I'm
the
gonna give it
Patriots
to the
at
Jets again.
95%. You're going to give it to the Jets.
I'm getting for back-to-back weeks. This is just such a bias pick. I want the Patriots to lose so bad. I'm so tired of them
Yeah, but you being
scrapping.
biased doesn't make them win. You know I hate the Patriots more than any team in the league. I despise them. I hope they never win a game again in their franchise history. They are going to kill the Jets. The Jets suck. The Jets are not a good
I
team.
think I think this is if the Jets don't win this week, I'm gonna stop picking them, but I'm gonna give them one more chance to give Zach Wilson the right plays, let him throw the ball, give
He's
it to
in
Corey
game two
Davis.
against He's in game two against Bill Belichick's defense,
Mac
which was a
Jones is a
loaded
game
open.
too. I didn't think. Well, what did Mac Jones do? Oh, he had a good week last year.
He
Last
had a
week.
solid game. Did you even see him winking at the defender in that game? There's clips
Yeah,
of him looking. Oh man, he's got some confidence in him. That guy. The Patriots are going to destroy the Jets. I'm
we'll
saying
see.
by
We'll see.
20. The Jets have no business in this game. It's no offense to the Jets coaching staff. It's just they're the youngest team in the NFL going against a bunch of veteran defensive players. So even the Patriots offense is a little bit slow. The Patriots defense is going to manhandle the Jets. I think that Zach Wilson's welcome to the NFL. This is going to be your test. You think Belichick's going to mess around with this quarterback? No way. This guy's going to see things he's never seen before. Not that he's I think he's got great optimism, great upside, but everyone needs, Peyton Manning wasn't good his first year. Troy Aikman wasn't good his first year. It's tough.
Yeah. Our next game, the 1-0 Philadelphia Eagles host the 1-0 San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco is given a 52.8% chance to win this
That's
game.
it?
And
52%?
I'm going to go with them. Philly's defense is not good enough to stop the 49ers offense. This is not Atlanta. And I know everyone was impressed with what they did in Atlanta last week. This team's not Atlanta. Atlanta's a terrible football team. This is a really good football team. So I don't think Philadelphia is going to win this game just because their defense will not be able to stop San Fran's offense. And I don't know too much about San Fran's defense, but I think they're not going to be.
Well, all you got to know, their defensive line is beasts. They lost Mostert for the year with a knee injury, but the 49ers roll in 10 running backs. It doesn't make a difference. Trey Sermon's going to get to play today, who I'm excited to see in the 49ers running game. That guy could, you give him a chance, he could crush it.
Haunted memories of him.
I thought the Eagles. I like Jalen Hurts. I know a lot of people don't like him, but like I told you before, Oklahoma and Alabama, he was successful. It's all about his accuracy. I don't think he's good enough against the 49ers. I think the 49ers are one of the best teams in the NFL. I think the 49ers are going to beat him up and show him what it's like and knock those Eagles back down to 1-1.
I agree with that. And our next game, this one's also interesting to me because I had trouble kind of going over this one in my mind on who I thought was going to win this game. The 1-0 Pittsburgh Steelers host the 1-0 Raiders, and I like the Raiders a lot. I think they're a good offensive team. My question is, can they go into Pittsburgh and win this game? Pittsburgh's given a 65% chance to win this game.
Wow,
I agree with that. I want to pick the Raiders so bad because I like their team a lot, but I'm going to have to give this one to Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's going to win this one by a score or two.
I'm going but with the Steelers as well. I think this Big Ben did not look good last week. He looked like he was standing in cement and he looked old. But the team still pulled off a huge win in Buffalo. Now they're at home. The Raiders had a real emotional win in Las Vegas with the fans there. An important win for them against a good team. I think, coming out east, things are going to go wrong for the Raiders. They're just not a consistent team. They're so up, they're down. I like Pittsburgh too.
Yeah. And our second to last 1:00 game, the 1-0 Carolina Panthers host the 1-0 New Orleans Saints. The Saints are given 60% chance to win. I think this is going to be a blowout in the Saints' favor. I didn't find the Panthers impressive really last week against the Jets. I thought they almost blew that game. Even though we never really thought the Jets were going to win, they almost blew that game. They only won by 5. I think that was a little embarrassing with how well they played. It felt like a blowout for most of the game, and then they only won by 5. You're not going to be beating the Saints this week. Doesn't matter home or away. You're not going to be beating the Saints this week in my mind.
Yeah, the one thing about it is Jameis Winston doesn't give me that warm, fuzzy feel of confidence based on his history, but the coaching staff and Sean Payton does. I'm all over the Saints with you, Matty. They're just people were nervous about them, and then they destroy Green Bay. That says something. So I'm with you. I think New Orleans beats up Carolina, who is a bit overrated.
And then
we're going to learn something about the Carolina quarterback in this game, though. We'll see I don't think last week was. Yeah, I don't think he's bad. I think he's an average quarterback who bounces back between being a backup. Darnold will be in the league for 10 years. I don't think he'll be a starter for 10 years. Let's put it that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree with that. Our last 1:00 game of the day, the 0-1 Jacksonville Jaguars host the 1-0 Denver Broncos. Denver's given a 63% chance to win this. I'm picking Denver, but I want to see my beloved quarterback Trevor have a decent game. Like I want to see him play well against Denver's defense.
He's in trouble today.
And I wish he had like I don't know what Chark's first name is, their wide receiver, but
DJ.
he needs better wide receivers, and he can't
He's
throw
got
picks again.
he's got good receivers. I'm gonna butcher his name. Chanot is pretty good. Shark was really good as well. What he doesn't have is horrific play calling. The play calling is terrible. Like
I don't think Urban Meyer is going to be a good coach at all in the NFL.
If the Jacksonville looks like they did week 1 again, the offensive coordinator is going to be fired by the midpoint of the season, and I see Urban Meyer quitting at the end of the season. It is all going wrong for them down there. I watched a couple analysts just talk about the games, and they just butchered Jacksonville for being not prepared on an NFL level at all, and how their offense was just predictable and bad. So
I just hope it doesn't fall back on Trevor Lawrence. All of
it always falls back on the quarterback. It doesn't matter, but they're not going to give up on Trevor Lawrence quite yet. Especially they'll attack the coach first because Trevor's a bit of a god down by you, so he'll get another chance. It's only week 2, but it looks terrible there. I'm all about Denver. I feel like I'm taking every favorite, but that's the reality.
And to start our 4:00 games, we have our first 4:05 game. The 1-0, I almost said St. Louis Cardinals, Arizona Cardinals host the 0-1 Minnesota Vikings. They give the Cardinals 61% chance to win this game. I'm going with that. I think the Vikings are going to keep it close. Cardinals, I'm liking my DeAndre Hopkins. I'm liking my Adam Thielen, both of those guys in fantasy. Looking for a lot of points in this game, and I got the Cardinals by 2 scores.
Yeah, this is one of those games where I want to pick Minnesota because in my mind, Minnesota was one of those sleeper picks for the Super Bowl. They've had a solid coach. They have terrific offensive weapons. Dalvin Cook, Jefferson, Thielen, like they have the pieces in place, but they looked really bad week 1. So, a Vikings are a team I thought would have to bounce back. I thought Arizona is a team under their current coach who 1 week looks great, next week throws a dud. 1 week looks great. So I think this game will be closer at home in Arizona. I think they're going to carry the momentum through, and I agree with you. I think Arizona wins this game. It wouldn't shock me if Minnesota all of a sudden looked great in this game, but I'm going with Arizona.
Yeah, and then our next and last 4:05 game is the 1-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers hosting the 0-1 Atlanta Falcons, and this is going to be a disastrous blowout. Like Tampa Bay's got a 78% chance to win. It should be like 90. There's no way Atlanta's not going to score anything on their defense, and they're just not going to stop them. They're not going to stop Tampa Bay on the defensive side. It's going to be a fun game if you like offense for one side. It's going to be a blowout.
Yeah, I mean the question is how much they're going to win by, not if they're going to win. And I think a lot of people feel like that. I'm sure that there's a lot of gamblers who will be into that game in interesting ways.
Yeah, and to kick off our 4:25 games, we have the 1-0 LA Chargers hosting the 0-1 Dallas Cowboys in LA. LA is given a 50.1% chance to win this game. And I agree with that. I love Herbert. He's going to be a great quarterback in the NFL. And I think if this game's in Dallas, Dallas is winning, but it's not in Dallas. And Dallas is looking to go.
I honestly think Dallas will probably have the home field advantage in LA. The Chargers fans do not. I haven't gone to Chargers games, but when they played in a soccer stadium, they had barely any fans show up. They're in a maybe because this is their first crowd in the big stadium, the new stadium, SoFi, they'll draw more. But Cowboys fans are everywhere. I bet at worst it's a 50-50 crowd, so Dallas feels like they're at home. I think there's zero home field advantage. I still taking the Chargers because I think the Chargers are a better team. Dexter Lawrence is out for a couple weeks. I think the Cowboys lost another offensive lineman. Not sure on the status of the wide receiver for the Cowboys, whether he's missing time or not.
Yeah.
I'm biased. Let's face it. I hate the Cowboys. I'm biased.
They're not winning this one.
We don't need them to win this one, and we don't want them to win this one. Go Chargers.
Yeah, and our last 425 game of the day is the 1-0 Seattle Seahawks host the 0-1 Tennessee Titans. Seattle's given us a 71% chance to win this game. Once again, I'm going with the favorite. Tennessee looked trash last week. Derrick Henry looked trash.
Which was so surprising. Like, they were a Super Bowl contender last year. Where was the running game? What happened? You add Julio Jones. Like,
Derrick Henry's not good. I know. I've been calling that since last year. The only reason he was getting all this, like, these fantasy points and all this stuff is because people can't tackle him. He's not fast. You just need people in the league.
You don't have to be. The whole point is getting tackled. So how could you say he's not good? That's the most. He ran for 2,000 yards last year. 2,000.
Well, 58.
How could you say he's not good? He averaged over 5 yards a carry last year. 2,000 yards. I have no idea how many TDs he had, but he was the team. He had 378 carries last year. He is their offense outside of who was Corey Davis and Jonnu Smith last year who left. You bring in Julio Jones, so all right, you lost a tight end, but I don't understand this team. But you're right, Seattle just
big time. Something
about them. They may have no offensive line, and maybe it's all Russell Wilson, your former North Carolina State boy. But yeah, I feel like we're such home, and we're going with all the favorites in this one. But yeah, I like Seattle as well.
I'm going to be going with the favorite again because on prime time, our night game, Sunday Night Football, the 0-1 Baltimore Ravens host the 1-0 Kansas City Chiefs. This is going to be a great game. Chiefs have a 56% chance to win this. I would have given them a 75. The Chiefs are going to blow out the Ravens team. I think the Ravens are completely overrated. Their brand of football is not championship brand of football. I feel like they have good.
I mean, it's been pretty successful the last couple of years.
I know, but you see, like, they have good seasons, like when they were 13-3, and like with how Lamar's a running quarterback and how their offensive system works, they don't go far in the playoffs, and they got.
Well, we're only talking about week 2, so we're not talking.
I don't know. All I know is the Chiefs are going to blow their doors off. I have Kelsey. Kelsey's going to have like 3 touchdowns. So it's going to be a big game for the Chiefs. I don't see how Baltimore wins this game. I think it's 2 or 3 possessions in the Chiefs' favor.
I think it's closer than you think, just because the Baltimore, I think the coaching staff does a good job of game planning. Look, keep them in the game. There's just too many injuries on the Ravens.
Yeah.
I mean, how many can they overcome? Just too many breaks. The Chiefs, big win last week. I think they'll take it again this week.
I agree. And to end our picks today,
oh gosh,
our Monday night football at 8:15, the 0-1 Packers host the 0-1 Detroit Lions. Packers have
Lions.
A 68% chance to win this, and I'm going with the Lions. I think Jared Goff has a lot to prove. Packers looked horrible last week against a Saints team that I wasn't expecting much from. I don't think the Packers are saying we're going to put this behind us. I don't think it's going to go behind you that easy. I think the Lions are going to pull off a shocker, and I hope they do, and I think they will.
The Lions made a strong comeback in game 1, which says something about how they're being coached. They stayed in a game that they got way behind in and fought back. I have a hard time believing that Green Bay's, after just getting derailed last week, that they're not going to be a lot better this week. If Green Bay was playing an opponent of a higher level, I think I would lean against Green Bay. Detroit's just historically a horrific team. Their talent didn't get better in the offseason, in my mind. They lost Jeff Okudah for the season with, I think, a torn Achilles. It's Green Bay for me. So on our picks, we really only have 3 different You got the Bears, I got the Bengals. You got the Jets, I got the Patriots, and I got Green Bay, and you got the Lions. Otherwise, we're in same. I think
Wow.
I think the Rams is a game I feel confident about. I think the Rams are going to score a lot of points in that. I
Yeah.
think the Bears and Bengals is going to be a fun, high-scoring game that hopefully we could get it on TV here and watch it. I hate the DirecTV problem. I think the Broncos is an easy win. I think the best games on the docket, Cowboys-Chargers is a great game. I
That's
think
gonna
the
be
Pittsburgh
gonna be
game
fun.
is a great game. But we'll see. With
Yeah.
that,
It's time
we'll
to go over the Thursday night game.
the Thursday night disaster. Thankfully, we didn't, due to technical difficulties, we weren't able to talk to it too close to the game because I would have been too angry about the way they lost that. I think you have to admit with me, Daniel Jones was great in that game. He did everything he can to win that game. I
That
thought
was the
Jason
best.
Garrett was the best I've seen his play calling. Using the read option, that play just kept working over and over again when Daniel Jones ran into the left side of the offense. Not enough Kenny Galladay in the game as far as the
And
offense.
Tony. I love
Well,
Tony being vocal. I like that
no, I
because
don't. Tony, he talked about the media after the game. You're a rookie who's played no sprint. You haven't even practiced barely. Shut up and sit on the sidelines. I don't want to hear Tony. I think he should be benched again for the next game. You do not talk about.
but why aren't they telling us why he's not getting playing time though? Why is he not getting playing time?
Obviously,
Then no-
he's doing something to offend the coaches or not that is not positive for the team, or it's an injury and it's their calls. You work for the Giants. Shut up. Don't talk to the press. I hope he gets benched next week. From what they said, the screaming match at Galladay at the end, I heard Shepard say that was just them being angry and frustrated and wanting to win. Joe Judge, bad call on the timeout. I just can't believe they lost that game. It's the same thing. The defense can't stop anybody.
I have a lot of points in this game. I think I'm going to start out with just like main points, and I'll give you why the Giants lost this game. But this was the best career start for Daniel Jones. This was the best he's ever played in his career, in my mind. He led the Giants in rushing. He had 95 yards rushing with a touchdown, 249 yards passing, only 10
And he got
incompletions,
one
one
touchdown
touchdown.
taken away on a horrible call.
Yep, no turnovers. That was no turnovers completely by the Giants offense, which drives me insane that they didn't win this game.
Which you usually win when you do that.
Yeah. Another good week for Shepard. 99 receptions, 94 yards. He is really just looks really consistent to start off the season, and Jones is creating good chemistry with him. Still not seeing that chemistry with Galladay yet. Galladay dropped a couple balls. I mean,
I'm not worried about that so early in the season. I'm curious to see your opinion on Slayton dropping the touchdown that could have won the game. Some people say, well, the throw wasn't that great. I mean, Jones was getting crunched in the stomach at the time. In my mind, in the NFL, if it hits both your hands, you should catch it. And that cost them the game. He could have caught that.
I know who would have caught that ball. OBJ would have caught that ball.
Well, he wouldn't because he hasn't played yet. He hasn't played in over a year.
To make some Darius Slayton consistently just, I don't know. He scored the touchdown. Looked like it was him and Jones looked like they
Slayton is not a number one wide receiver,
but he's not good. Like you have to realize in that moment. It reminded me of Ingram. You have to realize in that moment, you make that play, the game's over. And you look at the fact that I agree. Like if it's too far in your reach, tip it back to you. Like he could have dove for it. It could have been a better ball, but you still have to catch that one. That's not really on Jones because you're right. He's in pressure. He's under pressure. So we're not asking for a dime right in your lap. Like catch the ball. Like you have hands.
It hits you in both hands on a play like that where you could win the game. At least stretch out and dive for it, and then I could say maybe the ground caused the fumble, but you got to catch that ball. The offensive line,
not bad.
they lose Gates, who we all love, and we hear the Giants love, to a horrific, what looked like a compound fracture, and that his season is over. You have Price coming at center from the Bengals. You juggle stuff around against a great defensive line for the Redskins. 4 number 1 players. They were solid. I don't think Saquon feels comfortable. I mean, his stats are skewed by that one run. He doesn't look himself. I think they need to get him the ball. Where are the screen passes though? Like, get him out in some space.
I'm tired. They should just don't play him then. Like, cause like he's obviously not at 100%. So like them saying like making
Well,
him
you got to
questionable, then
work your
like
way back into. I think a lot of it too, from what I heard, older players who've been through these injuries talk about it, it's like having the confidence of knowing that you could run through a pile and get hit and you're going to be okay. So, and then just believing in cutting in your knee and it's not going to go out. So there, you have to learn about it on the field, but it's not as easy as just saying sit and then you'll be back and you'll be perfect. It's a catastrophic knee injury. So I have
yeah,
patience with Saquon. We'll see how it goes. Overall, the Giants offense, if they play like that, they're going to win more games than they're going to lose.
agreed.
The defense still.
Secondary was that was the worst game James Bradbury's ever played with the Giants. He was very. Patrick Graham had coached a terrible game. The secondary was so soft, right off the line, giving up these short little routes, and that's
Well,
how Washington was flying on the field.
yeah, they were trying to keep everything in front of them, and that's okay as long as you. Wow, got some tough comments on my Bears picks from the wife. Um, I don't know. The defense has got to be better. The expectation is they'll be better. Maybe they didn't have the confidence to play up with McLaurin just eating Bradbury up, but then Bradbury makes the incredible interception, and I thought the problem was they make that interception and they just run the ball 3 times into a mountain.
But because that's where I was like, Barkley's not a 100%. Because if you told 100% Barkley, I'm giving you 3 carries, get me a first down so we can win this game. At his skill level,
they should have thrown the ball. I know you're nervous about Daniel Jones running and fumbling and cost them a game. I know
I'd rather him run the ball than
but
because
like
those plays
I know
work.
that was in Jason Garrett's like, I'm not going to run a quarterback sneak. He gets hit, fumble, lose a game. The media will implode upon us. But the read option is what worked all day. That was there all day. Or give it to the fullback. But I thought you needed to try to go for the score. You can't just sit back. In the NFL, you give this team times. You give them 4 downs to walk down the field and to get a field goal. And you see it almost every game. The team usually gets it.
You got to put it in your mind. Garrett, Graham, and Judge have to put in their mind. The defense is not right now. This defense is not giving me a trusted stop. So I need to put up as many points offensively wise as I can to put them in a scenario to where like the Giants have a best chance to win. And settling for a field goal on 3 and out, I thought the game was over once Bradbury picked that up. I thought the Giants
I agree with you.
Just win that game. I think really
kicking 5 field goals is a death roll.
Also, the best field goal kicker in the league, probably my favorite player in the Giants because he's just dominant. 34 straight field goals made.
No kicker will ever be my favorite player on a team. You got to be kidding.
He's the only one good on that team who's consistent. The guy's made 34 straight field goals.
And then when he misses next week, you'll kill him. Yeah,
he kicked a 55-yard field goal right off the foot, started walking away, didn't even look at it go through the uprights. The guy got me 22 fantasy points.
Kicker. Give me an offensive lineman who's fighting everyone, or a defensive lineman who's punching each other all game long. Those are the real stars of the game, not the kickers.
And you know what's also another one of the differences in this game? I hope Joe Judge puts this in the back of his head a little bit because the Giants scored a touchdown on their first drive. Washington goes 3 and out. Giants score a touchdown. Then they go 3 and out to start the game. Then the Giants get the ball. They're inside the 40 and they're stopped and they're at the 38 and Joe Judge doesn't give Graham Gano that field goal opportunity and I think he'll think differently next time. I'm not saying that's the game. I'm just.
But you can't. I mean, I don't think that has anything. When you can't kick 5 field goals and expect to win in the NFL anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
You
I
got to
think
score some touchdowns. So, like, I agree. Instead of kicking some of those field goals, you got to go for it on 4th down. I mean, we've watched 2 weeks in a row the other teams just go for 4th down nonstop against the Giants, and the Giants can't get off the field, and it's killed them.
the Giants third down are on 3rd and 4th down. They have not been good this year, and the fact that Washington went down the field in 2 plays and scored a touchdown, and that horrific coverage that allowed Ricky Seals-Jones to make that
That was a beautiful catch.
19-yard touchdown. What like
It's a great
my
catch.
big things in this game is everyone's gonna go on Dexter Lawrence. I don't know what it's like to like being like you're trying to end. You're trying to block the
trying
field
to
goal.
block a field goal. That's
It is what it is. That's not ultimately to me.
if we would have made the field goal, and the penalty was there, no one would even talked about it. One play does not make a game at all. You knew they got themselves in that situation long before the Dexter Lawrence penalty. I don't care about the penalty. I mean, I do care, but it's not the reason they won or lost.
The Giants should have. The main point here is the Giants should have easily won this game, and if they're going to keep doing this, what's unfortunate is I'm committed to having Daniel Jones be our quarterback of the future. But he's the problem is what's sad is if the Giants don't go 500 and he has a great season, he's the one that's going to be removed. Because he's going to pay for them losing
If
games.
the Giants
like
don't make the playoffs, the GM's the one who's going to take the brunt of this one.
Well, if the Giants have like a 7-10 season and Jones is a great year, but
Gettleman will be fired.
But Jones, I feel like Jones will be on his way out too, and when it's not his fault.
Jones will stand on his own accord. There's not enough quarterbacks bouncing around the league. If he has a good year, they will re-sign him to an extension. Their offensive line, that's the thing that most impressed me, that they were able to stay alive against an elite, back-to-back elite defensive lines. Injuries. You shift people around, and I don't know what they were doing, but they looked a lot better. If they keep looking better like that, they'll win these games. They just need to play better in the 4th quarter. They can't close games at all.
I think the Giants' big thing here is they need to go into next week. They need to really just crush Atlanta. They need something to get them on the roll because
I agree. You got to come out.
Then you're playing road game against Saints and Cowboys, home game against the Rams. You could be 1-4, 1-5 to start off this year.
And the pressure just becomes insurmountable.
You're not making the playoffs. The Giants have to win this game considerably, then hope you take one of those 2 games against the Saints or the Cowboys, and go from there to where the schedule gets a little easier. Then you want to be good at home against the Rams, good at home against the Panthers.
Well, we can't worry about the schedule down the road. Next week, beat the Falcons, beat them handily, have a turnover-free game. Get some turnovers on defense. Just play 1 week at a time. Beat Atlanta, and we'll see where it goes. For all we know, you could come back and the Saints could have an injury. The season could be completely different a week from now. So let's just beat the Falcons next week.
Well, I think with the Giants, it's just what's put them in a bad hole early is they very easily could have been 1-1 in these first 2 games. They also very easily could have been 2-0. So, no, I don't think anyone expected.
But I think that goes for a lot of teams saying the same things that will come out of today. There'll be plenty of teams who thought, the Browns missed a huge opportunity to beat the Chiefs last week. You're always going to feel these things. Every fan is always feeling like their team is either doomed or lucky, or it is what it is. What we got to do.
I'm not down on the Giants
Falcons
yet. If they lose to the Falcons, they lose
the Falcons, there's going to be chaos.
If they go 1-4 to start the year, I might be down on the Giants, or 2-4. I might be, or what would they be 2? No, 2-4.
Disappointed, yes, but I'm not giving up on the Giants. I'm a Joe Judge fan. I'm a Daniel Jones fan. I think they'll get it together.
Well, these guys, I think the
got to start beating some decent teams. You can't.
Jason Garrett, Gettleman, and Daniel Jones. Jones has done well, but some of these guys are going to be. Head's gonna be on the chopping block if this team.
It's already on the. They got. It's on the. Gettleman's head is on the block, and Garrett's is close after it. I thought Garrett had his best game. We'll see. But with that, We'll wish everyone a fortunate week 2, rooting for their teams, whoever it is. Caroline, I hope I'm wrong and the Bears destroy them and we have a good game. But
The Bears will win this game. Trust me.
we'll get back into some more Yankee playoff talk later in the week. But we'll get this posted. So have a good day, Matty. Love you, buddy.
Love you too. All right, see
Bye.
you guys next time.
Bye.